Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostle, Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers out there pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yashai to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yashai, I just want to do a lesson, right, which is pretty much inspired by the United States Threat Assessment document that is sent out every year by the Homeland Security to the American public so that they can anticipate, the things that are likely to happen, um, the threats that are likely to materialize in their country. And within this document, while reading it, if you're a man of the Lord and you read the scriptures and you believe in the word of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, you will be glad because you know that the downfall of Babylon means the establishment of the kingdom of Israel, right? In which we rule. And so going through it, there are some things that are very interesting to me that I'd like to point out. And the first on the list is terrorism, right? So, Babylon, we know that terrorism is not going to be, the downfall of Babylon, right? Because they've been dealing with these. I'm talking about those in the terrorism in the I guess the common knowledge of it being in the by the how do you call it, the Ishmaelites. We know that the Ishmaelites are not going to be the downfall of Babylon, right? The downfall of Babylon comes, according to Ezekiel 33, comes by way of what Gog and Magog and a coalition of nations. So Russia, with the backing of many nations, will be the downfall of America. But and so, when it comes to terrorism, America's been dealing with terrorists for a long, long time, and they're very efficient at it. And every other day, you hear of America dropping bombs and killing people. But what's kind of interesting to me is that when Babylon pulled out of Afghanistan and they left a power vacuum, the Taliban took control of that region and they formed a government. And people, for a long time, had not recognized that government, as a sovereign nation until recently. Russia came out in public and announced that they are taking the Taliban off the list of terrorists, right? They're taking Taliban off their list of terrorist groups. And they even took it a step further, if I'm reading this right, and recognized the Taliban, right? I can't even get this article. I know I'm pressing. I don't know if they took it down, but he took it a step further to recognizing the Taliban government of Afghanistan on Tuesday as parliament voted in favor of a law. Let me see. Oops. I think they took it out. I'm clicking on it. So pretty much the point is that they removed the Taliban from the list of terrorist groups, and there have been reports of China and India, right? So like the BRICS, for example, they're sort of creating allies and making moves and putting, pieces on the chessboard like to the point where you would think that they are going to war, right? And the scripture says that is what's going to happen eventually, right, in the last days. But right now, things are only how do I say it? It's only cool for now, right? It's not on the stage or on the level of World War III. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, right? Because if these men have been fighting against Babylon for a long time and they have a chance, to be in good standing with Russia, of course they would take it because they hate Babylon and they will do everything in their power to put hell upon Babylon, like Babylon did on them, right? So this is when you read in the scripture says that many people shall be with Russia. And this is the sentiment of the nations in the East and even in South America right now. A lot of people are looking to are looking at Babylon a different way. Whereas you could go to, let's say, Brazil without a visa, now they're asking for a visa. They made an announcement that starting from, I believe, this year or in February, you're gonna have to go through a visa process before going to before you can come to Brazil if you're from America. You know, you have countries like Barbados. I mean, all different countries that used to welcome Babylon passport holders are now saying, well, hold up now. We don't want you just coming in and doing whatever it is that you want to come in. We don't want you thinking this place is yours. From now on, when you want to come to our country, you got to go through the same process that our citizens got to come through when they come to your country. And so this is the dynamic that's going on right now. These nations out there are kind of side-eyeing Babylon, and they've lost that fear that they used to have in the previous days. Now everybody's wiser. Now everybody knows that there's an alternative to being under the shadow of Western dominance. And the hope that they are clinging to is Russia. You know, even though Russia's not, it doesn't look right now. All the media is making Russia out to be as though that they're losing in the war of Ukraine. They're still gaining allies. And the reason being is that prophecy. You know, it doesn't matter what your logic is, it doesn't matter what you can deduce or what you can anticipate happening in the future. If what you think is going to happen based on your knowledge, no matter how fucking smart you are, goes against what's written off in the scriptures, you are wrong. You're ultimately going to be proven wrong, and you're gonna try to figure out why is this happening? Why is that? Well, it's because what you're not the one who created the world, and you're not the one who decides what happens in the course of what in the course of history or in the course of event in this world. It's the Most High. So when the Most High says something is gonna happen, that's definitely gonna happen. And so that's why I thought the whole touch on terrorism was very important because the I guess the summary here, let's see, when they touched on terrorism, the message pretty much was that it's gaining momentum and that it's spreading, right? Let me see. Um, right, it says foreign terrorist groups like Al Qaeda and ISIS are seeking to rebuild overseas, and they maintain worldwide networks of supporters that could seek to target the homeland. Among state actors, we expect Iran to remain the primary sponsor of terrorism and continue its effort to advance plots against individuals in the United States. And we know that these same groups have been growing from the Middle East and spreading even into what into Africa. You have the same groups, like the ISIS groups identifying, people in Somalia, in Nigeria, in Mali, and all these countries in Africa. Some of them are identifying themselves with these people, you know and the reason they are motivated to be part of this people is because the message of Babylon being the true villain and that everybody must stand against him is resonating with them. Now, of course, right, let it not be you know I guess like I have to mention that we're not teaching you that these groups are right on the right path. As a matter of fact, they're not on the right path. Right? The scriptures advise us to what? To obey the law and be under the subject of power that's been established. We go, we follow the law and we conform to society to as far as our righteousness will allow, right? So we ain't supposed to be out here joining militias, taking up guns. What we are supposed to do is pretty much speak the word, and like the Most High promised to Jeremiah, or or like Paul said, we doing this work, will be the way the Most High used to destroy this place down. Our lot is far more important, and our lot is how we make ourselves blameless in doing what these nations seek to accomplish, but really they can't, except the Yahweh Hashem Shai is with them. All right. So this was actually very interesting. It goes into illegal drugs, and then it goes also into immigration, because we know the whole thing with the border and immigration security has gotten out of control to where these Republicans, man, once they get in there, they're about to do a whole lot of shit, you know. They are livid that the Biden administration allowed all these people to come in here, and then now all this carnage is going on because of what? Undocumented illegal immigrants. They are angry, they're furious, and to where you have some people even volunteering with guns in their hand to go down there and patrol borders. That's what they do, so they're really looking for Jakes because that's who predominantly they are. There was a Jakes coming from the southern borders trying to get into Babylon. So these people are angry, and once they have seen as how they have the majority, um, of the government, in their grasp, they're gonna use that momentum to pretty much crack down on any um one that they suspect to be an illegal immigrant or or a terrorist, or domestic terrorist, and they're gonna do a whole lot of things. Because the scripture says that what he shall be like a madman, and because he knows he has a short time. Part of them knowing they have a short time is reading and anticipating things like this happening to their homeland. You know, the battle is closing in on all sides. Nations are forsaking them. You have a whole powerful nations. When you even go down, it tells you that China is actually concerned because they've secured majority of of the markets in the world. All right, let me see if I can find that right now. They've secured it, and now they're looking for a way to um to do away with the United States dollar, which is gonna be very very impactful. It's gonna be devastating to the to Babylon, you know, because currency is just as deadly as weapons can do. That's why whenever they don't have to, they will just put a sanction or an embargo, and then a country's economy will plummet. And because of the lack of resources flowing in and out of that country, what happens? Crime goes up, infrastructures fall, certain branches of government, defect because there's no money coming in. People just can't survive and be upstanding citizens. They got to make ends meet, and they got to do everything that they can to make ends meet. And most of the time, people resort to what? They resort to violence. They resort to whoredom. You know, they do all kind of things. And so, messing with a country's ability to trade, right, or traffic with the rest of the world is very, very impactful. And so, when let's see if I can find it right now. Um, Cyber attacks. No, let me. All right. So it says economic manipulation, coercion, and malign influence. Let me see. So it says China's control and manipulation of critical supply chains will remain an economic security threat to the homeland. Beijing has recently introduced export control measures on gallium and germanium, critical inputs of semiconductors and low carbon energy technologies, giving the PRC the ability to restrict exports of these critical minerals to foreign buyers. So they are controlling a lot of these critical components. And what do you think is going to happen because they right now they have the eyes set on what Taiwan right now, and then once they have the perfect opportunity, they will strike and they will incorporate that country. They will they will annex that country onto their own, just like Russia is doing right now. And it is said that Taiwan is said to be one of the mass producers of the computer chips. So once they get that control, and then they start restricting Babylon. How that's going to be very, very impactful to Babylon. The whole society is set up on what? It's set up on technology. You know, it says, let me see right now. It says Beijing almost certainly will continue to use economic coercion as retaliation for perceived political or military challenges to its interest. This could include trade restrictions, public boycotts, and arbitrary, sometimes undeclared administrative discrimination procedures to block select U.S. companies and investors from accessing China's market. China likely will continue to pressure China-based U.S. Consultancies from investigating and reporting on China's use of forced labor in the hopes of reducing criticism of Beijing. the efficacy of the United States, I don't know how to pronounce that word, Forced Labor Prevention Act, and similar U.S. initiative. So these people are actually doing a lot of things to get one up over on Babylon. All right. So um, they are Babylon is, I mean, Moab is really spreading, like like smoke. They're going all over the place. They pretty much have all the African nations in their pocket. Forget about the IMF. Everybody is now flocking to China. Everybody owes China money, and they're allowing China to come in and set up oil rigs, refineries, you know. So the battle is closing in on all sides, man. Esau sees that he's not the only smart man in the world. He's not the only one with resources. He's not the only one with understanding understanding of money. you know, it's like it. So when you go to Job chapter 20, start from verse 3, start from verse 4, it says, Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reaches unto the cloud, yet he shall perish forever like his own dust. And they which have seen him shall say, Where is he? And soon this is going to be the state that Esau is in. He didn't give reverence to Yahweh Bashim Yashai for putting him in the position that he is right now. That is why, according to I don't know who does these kind of fucking research, but but the majority of groups in in Babylon that are atheists that don't believe in the Most High are fucking Edomites. They have their life is so good. They're living good. They're on top of the world. They think they're the best race in the world. So they have forgotten the How Bashim Shai who set them up. And so the pride has gotten to the point where when you mention God, they laugh at you like you're some sort of idiot. They laugh at you like, look at this dumbass guy, praying to God or proclaiming the omnipotence or the magnificence of God through preaching. They look at you like you're a fool. When you go out there into the highways out and the byways, that's they look at you like you're foolish people. But what they don't realize is that it's the Mosai who set them up in the first place. They're a bunch of fucking ingrates, man. And so he shall be chased away as he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore, and his hand shall restore their goods. And the scripture even talks about though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. These men out there are seeking to please the poor by having um these new culture of political correctness. They're trying to be inclusive. Now, you turn on the television and there's always a fucking minority, who is the protagonist of the movie, and they're doing all these things to please minorities. But the hatred for the things that they did to set themselves up is not altogether forgotten. You have some dumbass people, especially Jakes out there, who have forgotten these things, but the wise men have not forgotten. They are still angry because the scripture says that what oppression makes a wise man mad. And we who are wisely, how Bashim Yeshai, we are fresh with the knowledge of the wickedness of Esau on our people. It says, so he shall his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it within his mouth, and To spare something means you allow something to happen, you know? If you spare your child, you that means you allow your child to be wicked. You allow your child to do whatever it is that they want to do. And so them sparing wickedness means that they want wickedness to flourish. They don't do anything about wickedness. As a matter of fact, they relish in wickedness and they encourage wickedness. You go outside and you tell a man, yo, the lifestyle that you're living in ain't according to the scriptures. You're not supposed to do this, that, X, Y, and Z. You're not supposed to be out there laying with a woman or man like you're supposed to. They look at you like you're funny. Every fucking movie that comes out, every show that comes out, women are promiscuous, sleeping around, dealing with 10, 20 men, and it's just a fucking a sitcom. The most famous shows in the world all portray these wicked acts, all portray these wicked deeds. And it's all Esau. He has made it normal for a woman to be a fucking harlot. He has made it normal for a man to go into another man and be proud of that. He's made it normal for a man to be mad and saying, "Oh, I have I'm a man, but I feel like a woman." And this, that, and the third. He's made it normal. We used to be madness back then, but because what he spared wickedness, it's gotten so out of control that people can't really make sense. It got so out of control that people can't even are hesitant to speak because if you say anything against wickedness, he will come down upon you like a hammer. He will ruin your job. He'll get you fired from your job. He threatened your livelihood simply for speaking out against wickedness. So the scripture says that what he spares wickedness, right, and forsake it, and though he spare it and forsake it not, but keeps it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned in the gall of asp within him. So he has it within him, man, and the wicked has flourished. That's why it says it's turned in him. It's digested. He's here. He's already burned the fruit of his wickedness. You can't come back and say, "Oh, I regret slavery," but then enjoy the fruit of enjoy the fruit of your wickedness. You can't say, "Yo, It's like saying, "Yo, oh, yeah, I ate pork and all these things," but so what? You still got it in your system, you know. You do all this wickedness, you establish your nation on the blood of our back of our people, and then he turned around and said, "Well, let's do some reparations. Let's make up for our wickedness by sending people to college, but let's indoctrinate them and put our mind on them, and let's teach them to be wicked people." And that's how he makes up for his wickedness. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again, because the Most High is not gonna let this fly. He's swallowed up riches. He set up skyscrapers. He's had this, technology. He's achieved these technological feats, but the Most High is not gonna let these last forever. These nice cars you see out here, these paved roads, these parks that you see out here, the buildings, the hotels, the banks, the clubs and all these things. It's not gonna be out here forever. The Most High is not gonna allow this to stand. Those are his riches. He likes it, you know, but eventually he's gonna destroy it. He's gonna light it on fire and take all this riches. He's gonna make him destitute. Because if there's no righteousness in you, why should the Most High reward you? So he's gonna take everything that he has set him up, that he gave to me in the first place, right? It says he has swallowed down riches, he shall vomit them up again. God shall cast them shall cast them out of his belly, right? And he shall pluck the poison of asp, and viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. And a horrible time is coming for you Edomites, man, and you nations too, because every plan that they seem to come up with is a plan to get one up on Jake. Is a plan. They have a whole bunch of plans for the riches that they've gotten from Jake. These fucking Rothschilds out there, every plan, every you know, yeah, everything that they uh seek to accomplish in the future, they do it with the money that they got from blood. They do it from the money that they got from deceit, from robbery, from murder, man. That's like you have a guy who went out and he used to be a gangbanger, killing and robbing people, and get all the money, open a barbershop, and think he's righteous. The Most High sees all these things, man. You ain't righteous until you ain't the sin. You're not absorbed of those sin until the Most High destroys everything that you profited off from the sin. Verse 23 says, "When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating." And when you talk about the new world order, this new world order is gonna be it's gonna be a time where it's almost perfected, because he's gonna have the majority of the population with the thing, and then life is gonna seem almost good. He's gonna buy up all the land. No one's gonna own anything. There's not gonna be a middle class. Everybody's gonna be piss poor. And he's somehow gonna trick people into thinking that the life is so good because they're poor, because they own nothing. And just when he's about to think that he has created a permanent position on top of the world, that's when the Most High is going to thrust him through. And the scripture says that the fury of the Most High shall rain down upon him by way of the ICBMs. And those that escape into the mountains, the Spirit of the Lord shall be upon what his angels and Yahweh Shai, to find out wherever they are, and slap chains upon them and bring their ass out into the field so they can work, so they know how it feels to be at the bottom. It says, "He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him." Hey, even the scripture talks about, bend ye all the bows round about Babylon, and let the fanners fan also. So the Most High has these things prepared for he has the destruction prepared, man. That's what the scripture says. The what All these things shall come unto thee, like the loss of children, the death, mourning, all every evil thing, every misfortune you can ever think of. The Most High have all these things prepared, and you know, like a great millstone, like the scripture says, just like a great millstone, he's gonna crush, this society, and break the feet and the toes. You know, it says, let me see, um, it says that all darkness shall be hid in his secret places, a fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Translation says total darkness is reserved for his treasures, because he's not going to be able to possess his treasures. All right. It says a fire unfanned by man's hand will consume him. It will feed on what is left in his tent. So the remnants of him will be destroyed. That's why we keep saying that in the kingdom, once they serve their 1,000 year captivity, they'll be burnt up. So he's going to be burnt up in the middle of his captivity, from the start of his captivity, and then at the end of his captivity, he's going to be burnt up again. You know, it says, "The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of the wicked man from God, and the heritage appointed unto him by God." And so when you read the threat assessment, and he comes up with, cyber attacks, potential attacks. Let me see on that. When you read of potential attacks, and on the power grid, you read of climate change, wildfires, you know, um, what's it called, agriculture, agricultural practices not yielding enough for the public. You read of poverty, you read of new groups that are have hatred. Is it still live? Okay, Tom. I was confused for a second. The screen went dark. I don't know if it's just me or it was like that. So if you read of like climate change, natural disasters, and all these things coming against Babylon, it's a fulfillment of prophecy. You know, the Most High has